Hi there, Mayor. So now we are moved on to the next video. This one is for the Scout. So this is B, right? We're going to talk about in this video, of course, the measurements, just like we did before, and then we'll also talk sizing of the cockpit. So all the same ground rules as before. Everything applies that we've already discussed. Remember, in the first video, we talked about why the front-back measurements have changed. So let's get right into this again. So from the normal riding position, your helper will measure back 8 centimeters. That's where we will mark the motorcycle as the front of the cockpit, okay? And that's where we'll double check these front back measurements. That's why they look different. Keep in mind, the photo overlay is never going to line up, even in these stock photos, and these stock photos aren't exactly the same model, so just accept the photo as there for description so that I can point to things and we understand each other. The lining up is never going to be ideal. Okay, so let's get right into it. We've marked the front of the cockpit 8 centimeters behind your back, front brackets 23 centimeters side to side, and located 4 centimeters back. Looks good. Rear brackets 22.4 side to side, so very similar, and located 27.5 centimeters from the front of the cockpit. And then the central bolt here is at 22 centimeters from the front of the cockpit. Now, in terms of our vertical distances here, so the rear bracket we were just talking about, we have that at 6, and the front one we have at 9. So, you know, there's a lot of, again, the photo overlay is never, ever going to line up just right. I might expect that from what I see, the front bracket's a bit longer. It's really hard to tell from the photos, which is why we don't use them for the build. We don't ask riders to like take pictures with the measuring tape in it because it is so deceiving. But I do use it just to kind of point some things out so that we're focused on you know all the possibilities and make sure that everything's dialed in. So just maybe, you know, throw another glance here. Make sure that you like the vertical distance, that it's going to go down far enough, because the distance here does seem to be, you know, this does seem to be more or less correct. This distance maybe is a little bit short at 9 centimeters, okay? I might expect it to go down further to reach this bolt. Keep in mind, just as we do see in the photo here, we're going to be resting on the wheel hub, just like the seesaw effect. The cockpit will be 8 centimeters behind your back. It looks like it's very far up here. I'm not worried about that. Again, all that matters is 8 centimeters behind your back. That's what you're measuring out. And then we're going to get this bracket. This is going to be a bit more of like a Y shape, and that's because we want to go up a little bit before we go back to avoid any obstruction to the turn signals, right? So this is, you know, this is going to help just a bit here in providing some support to the rear. But again, you know, we're resting here on the wheel hub, and Anoyle's load is all right here over the wheel hub, just like a human passenger who would be sitting here. So the actual load back here is less, and these brackets then kind of counterbalance that effect is what we're after. Okay, so now the last thing I want to do in this video is just talk about sizing. So we're at a large, right? We've got an 85-pound dog. So let me bring over the photo. So yeah, this is these dimensions, I think, pretty clearly will be bigger than we want or need, which is a good thing, because, you know, the smaller is safer, and smaller is lighter, and smaller also looks better on the bike. So generally what we want to see for the length is about right here. The non-wall side wrist is about where we want the front of the cockpit to come in. So more or less where this kind of blue stitching is in the carpet. Maybe just a little bit in front of that, but right about there. And then this is what we like to see with the one of the hind paws. And then generally what we'll do is when the rider puts a little bit of pressure here on this paw and kind of brings it in, that's going to put it right about here, okay? And that's what we want to see. Clearly, when we have all the space in the world, we're going to let this kind of kick out free, but we don't want to give this kind of space, okay? So I think I've got a drawing here. So this is really what I'm looking at, and we could even be a little bit narrower than this. We could probably even be a little bit shorter than this, without any concerns at all. It's very common that I'm kind of in a tug and pull with the rider, to because we kind of come into it thinking more space is better, and so I'm always kind of pushing us to go a little bit smaller. Keep in mind that part of the safety is that these padded roll bars are really cradling the dog. So if you do have a get off, the less space that there is for the dog to go from one side to the other, that creates momentum. It creates acceleration, and then that can decrease safety. So being nicely cradled is a good thing, and so we want to find that sweet spot between being snug and cradled and cramped, and so that's what it boils down to. So based on the measurements here that you've provided, and based on Noel's sort of weight, which also gives us some clue, that's where I've got us at 86 by 44 by 28. So this is basically our normal large size cockpit. When a dog is just above the standard size at that 85 pounds is really where they start to not fit as well in the standard. This is generally what we go to next, and it consistently works well for dogs in that 80, 85, 90, 95 pounds, before we have to go up larger for 100 plus pounds. If you want to redo the tape outline exercise for your own kind of comfort and peace of mind, basically you're talking 83 centimeters in length would be the internal dimension, by about 38 centimeters width. That'll give you a kind of a rough estimate of the internal dimensions. And like I said, when you visualize it, where were we here? We're going to tuck in more. We're going to tuck in more over here, and I think we're going to have a really nice fit. And again, nice fit, comfortable, and also safer. Okay, so we're just gonna double. The only kind of thing I'm highlighting here is as a double focus on the double check is this vertical. Everything else we're just gonna kind of double check and make sure we feel good about it. Anything you want to revise, large or small, old measurement equals new measurement, just like our example. Just write that in the notes. I'll make the changes, and we'll get you a version that you can approve, and we get right into the build on this.